So, imagine your high school experience, but instead of just looking like a prison, it technically was. Forget about Wi-Fi dead zones and cardboard pizza. Instead, may I suggest farmland, stone cottages, and a Gothic cathedral plopped in the middle of the woods. Welcome to Sleighton Farm School. This place started way back in the 1800s, originally as the House of Refuge in Philly, a reform school for teen girls who'd gotten into trouble. But here's the twist. It was run by Quakers who were like, hey, maybe instead of locking kids up, we try kindness and structure. So no, it was not exactly an Orange is the New Black or Girl Interrupted scenario, luckily. Speaking of luck, here is actually where a bird pooped on me.
Dude, a bird just shit on me, I'm not kidding. I just got shit on.
Anyway,
I'm so serious, get over here.
fast forward to 1911, and Sleighton moved to the countryside. Picture this, wide open skies, fields, and these gorgeous colonial revival cottages where the students lived. Think less high school hallway chaos and more like summer camp, but with curfews and chores. No masked killers, you hope. I mean, this was for juvenile delinquents. The students, mostly girls at the time, lived in cottages with house parents, milking cows, gardening, and yeah, they still had classes too. There were multiple buildings with classrooms. We even explored one that had been used up until they closed down. They had some spare community service sheets on the ground, and even a box with a keyboard for a 1997 Mac computer. There were some dated maps with the Soviet Union, some info sheets on the first black men in political power positions. Of course, the wording is curious, but the stuff that still scattered the ground was from the 90s, so. Speaking of scat, I was still exploring with bird poop in my hair.
Oh, you
This
can add
was
this at the end of your
very
documentary
cool.
as like a blooper.
There was an ominously displaced desk, and oh, yes! Then there's the cathedral. Yes, the legit, gorgeous, Gothic Ulmer Memorial Chapel is sitting in the middle of the property. High ceilings, a calm 300 pews, the whole 9 yards. It was used for Catholic, Jewish, Protestant, and non-sectarian services. It was dedicated on October 23rd, 1965. Can you imagine a crisp autumn chill in the air, and you praying here for your record to be expunged? Clearly the spiritual center of campus, and even if you weren't religious, must have been hard not to feel something in here. I particularly felt somewhat confused on how people managed to pull an entire street pole in here. Thing was like 2 tons. Up top had a great view where you could once watch a service or a preaching from a super cool and powerful angle. Now, the I love my hot wife graffiti is the last thing we can worship, but this is still valid. Now, the gym. This wasn't just some sad rec room with one deflated basketball. This thing was massive and super cool. They had a mascot painted on the wall too. Not much history is available besides that it came to be in 1978, but it's got a holy ceiling. At least when I was visiting, it was dripping water everywhere, so I have some pictures here to fill the gaps. It was really nicely built back in the day, clearly, and past the vandalization, you can see that the people running this reformatory really wanted the best for the kids attending. But as time went on, things got tougher. In 1993, the 120 acres were bought in an attempt to save prime farmland. Fewer kids were sent to these kinds of schools, funding dried up, and Sleighton closed for good in 2001, even after combining with another establishment. Since then, it's been sitting here, quiet, empty, and slowly being swallowed by vines, time, and a lot of freaky graffiti. All of the buildings have been vandalized, and a bunch of the original cottages were destroyed in a fire in 2014. You're wondering, and yes, it was arson, because people are evil. But even in its faded state, there's something hauntingly beautiful about Sleighton, not just the penis graffiti everywhere, or the one on the first building I explored that simply stated Helen Keller wasn't real. It's a reminder. People believed in second chances here, not punishment, but potential. So the next time you're sitting in class, wishing you could teleport somewhere else, maybe not here though, the asbestos was messing up my lungs for a few days after. Know that at least you're not one of the people setting fire to super cool abandoned buildings. And that, of course, you've already got something that these students once hoped for. A world that's learning to listen and listening to learn. And the knowledge that no matter what, a Quaker probably believes in you.